Happy New Year! It is 2017. Can you believe it? Everybody has their new goals for the new year, and something that I think a lot of people want to do for the new year is travel. Now, I've been doing missions trips for the last 2.5 years. I've made 5, soon to be 6 trips out of the country, and even though I'm not a professional and I haven't been doing this for decades and decades, I do have a few tips for those of you who are hoping to do some ministry traveling in an upcoming year. There are so many things that you're going to experience and you will love it, but there are a few things to remember. So without any further ado, here are 5 things that nobody will tell you about missions trips, except for me. Number 1, it costs more than you think. It will always cost more than you think. Everything from, I need a new piece of luggage before I go because my old piece will fall apart if I put it on the airplane, to it costs what for taxes on my ticket, or airplane food. Let me tell you about airport food. Not airplane food, airport food. Airport food is ridiculously expensive. You need to budget like a ton of money for food if you plan to eat in the airport. You might also have to pay fees to get out of the country. The first time I went out of the country that I went to get out of it, you have to pay an exit fee of $40. What if I hadn't had $40 with me? You know, it's good to know these things. Research as much as you can, but just know eventually there will be fees that you were not planning on, so budget accordingly. It's going to cost more than you think it costs. Number 2, you will have what I call brain freeze, for lack of a better term. When you go somewhere that doesn't speak your language, you're going to be really excited at first, and you're going to try to listen and understand everything, and eventually your brain is just going to turn off because it's tired. Like if you're lifting weights and all of a sudden your muscles say, I can't do this anymore, your brain will do that to you. It's like your brain says, I am done trying to figure out what people are saying. I am now turning off. Goodbye. And you will fall asleep, and you will not know why you are so sleepy, because you'll be just sitting there listening to either a sermon at church or a conversation between 2 people sitting next to you, and all of a sudden you're doing this. I can't stay awake. What is wrong with me? It's because your brain is tired. There's nothing wrong with you. You're just experiencing brain freeze. Point number 3. Before you travel, you need to sleep. Most people are so busy getting ready for the trip that for the whole week or 2 leading up to the trip, they're cutting short their hours of sleep because they want to get everything done. If you do that, you will get sick when you travel because you're being exposed to more germs than usual, new bacteria that you haven't encountered before, and if you're low on sleep, you will get sick. Ask me how I know this. I've done this way too many times, and so my new goal for the new year is, with my traveling, you need to get at least 8 hours of sleep every night for the week before leading up to the trip. Unless you enjoy being sick the whole time you're traveling and in a different country. Nobody enjoys that. Number 4. Be quiet. The whole world does not need to know you dropped your earbuds down the seat of the airplane seat. We just don't need to know. At least not at that level, at that decibel of sound. We also do not need to know that you're in desperate need of chewing gum on the crowded bus because your breath stinks. Don't announce that to the world, please. As somebody who's traveled a lot on her own and has experienced bumping into groups of other Americans, I can tell you that it is extremely embarrassing when you hear people being so noisy on the bus or on the plane. This is something that Americans are kind of known for abroad, is being really obnoxiously loud. You will actually get to know people better if they're not so intimidated by a very loud, boisterous atmosphere, whether you're by yourself or with a group. Most countries are a little more subdued, and so you look more approachable and you get to know people better. You're not as intimidating, and you are seen as more polite if you're not quite as loud. So turn the notch down just a little bit with your voice, and don't feel the need to talk about everything as if you're in a museum, like, oh, look at that person, he's riding with a goat on the motorcycle. Like, it's okay. You can kind of be like, hey, look at that. That's but just tone it down. Just tone it down. You will not embarrass your fellow Americans, and you will actually get to make better connections with the people. Number 5, and this is something that I wish somebody had told me about, but it wouldn't have changed anything. I just wish I would have known. You will be homesick. You will always be homesick. And here's what I mean by that. When you go somewhere, if the Lord has led you to visit a particular country, and you go and you make a connection with the people there, with the ministry there, with the country, if it's something that the Lord just kind of leaves your heart with that place, then when you come home, you will be homesick for that place. And you'll have 2 homes now. So when you're there, you'll kind of miss home. And when you're home, you will miss there. So you will be homesick for the rest of your life. It's a mixed blessing because now you have 2 places in the world where you feel at home. But at the same time, it's really hard. You will never feel like you're at home again. You will always be missing somewhere. It's a trade out for an amazing opportunity. Imagine you get to go to a place that a lot of people want to go. So many people want to travel, but specifically so many people want to do a missions trip where they're traveling for more than just tourist reasons. They want to actually make an impact on somebody's life for the gospel. And if you get to go on a missions trip in 2017, feel incredibly blessed. You get to do something so many people want to do. But be prepared. There are trade-offs for this immense blessing that you get to participate in. You'll get tired, you may get sick, and you will definitely always miss somewhere. But it's worth it. So I hope that as the new year begins, you have a fabulous year, and be sure that if you travel, to remember these 5 tips. Have a great rest of your day.